Well, hello, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back. Jiu-Jitsu 2000 here today. I'm back, and today I have episode 6 of my 7 video series comparing the Wowtac Model W1 to the Olight Model S1. In this video, I'm going to share my honest thoughts, my conclusions, and I'll talk about the pros and cons of each light. So let's get started by going through the modes of operation of the lights again. Both lights have a moonlight mode or a firefly mode of half of a lumen. Now, if I had to pick one, I would probably go with the Wowtac on this setting. It lasts longer. It lasts 29 days instead of the 25 days. And I also like this moonlight mode or firefly, whatever you wish to call it. I like it on the Wowtac W1 because the beam seems to be a little tighter, and I feel that that beam profile makes the Firefly mode a little bit more effective. Now moving forward and going to the low mode, we've got 12 lumens on the W1 and we have 8 lumens on the S1. Now on this setting of low, I have to go with the S1. And the purpose of me choosing the S1 is it seems that the beam pattern is better on this setting, and also I get more runtime. I get 40 hours of runtime with 8 lumens versus the W1, which gets 12 lumens for 25 hours. So I get another almost 15 hours of runtime out of this one with a few less lumens. And the difference between 8 lumens and 12 lumens, to me personally, isn't that big of a difference, but the runtime is. So on low, I got to choose the S1. Moving up to medium, we have 60 lumens for 5 hours or 80 lumens for 6 hours. Again, I'm going to go with the S1 on this one. The difference of 80 lumens versus 60 lumens isn't that much. And we're getting a brighter light here. We're getting 80 lumens. So we're getting 20 lumens more. And we're also getting another hour of runtime. So it's a no-brainer. So 60 lumens for 5 hours or 80 lumens for 6 hours. And with the beam pattern at these lower lighting levels, I definitely go with the S1 on that one. Now moving up to high, we have 197 lumens for 95 minutes. And then if we talk about the S1, we have 500 lumens for a minute and a half, and then it drops down to 300 to prevent overheating. And at 300, it'll run for 90 minutes. So if we talk about the lights after the step down, we're looking at 300 lumens, and then this one doesn't step down, so it stays at 197. So we're 100 lumens brighter here for 5 minutes less runtime. So I got to go with the S1 on high. Now let's talk about turbo. The Wowtac W1 does have a turbo of 562 lumens. It'll last for 1 minute. Then it will prevent overheating by reducing the lumen level down to 215 lumens. And at 215, after the step down, it'll last 75 minutes. If you look at the S1, it does not have a turbo. However, if we go back to high, low, medium, high, remember high was 500 lumens for a minute and a half. And then after step down, we have a 300 lumen light. So if we compare high on the S1 versus turbo on the W1, I would still choose high, because after step down, we're dealing with 300 lumens here, where over here, after step down, we're 215 for 75 minutes. And over here, again, we're 300 lumens for 90 minutes. So we get another 15 minutes of runtime. So I'm going with the S1 on turbo. If we talk about the strobe function, we have the W1, which has 150 lumens for 3.5 hours of runtime. On the S1, we have the full 500 lumens of strobe, and that'll last for 3 hours. So we're going to lose 30 minutes of runtime, but we're going to gain the brightness of the strobe operating at 10 hertz. So if I had to pick one or the other between the strobe, my idea is strobe is indicated as a function of the light that is designed to disorient attackers. Okay, so in my opinion, it's not so much about runtime at that point. It's more about getting the most amount of disorientation to my assailant as I can. So with that being said, I don't need that long 3.5 hours of strobe that's going to be a weak strobe of 150 lumens. So I'm going to go with the S1 on the strobe function. I'm going to take that 3-hour strobe at 500 lumens. Now let's talk about SOS. Neither light has SOS. Now let's move to the next thing, which is the automatic timed shutoff function. The Wowtac does not have one. The Olight does. It's got a 3-minute automatic shutoff, and it's got a 9-minute automatic shutoff. So definitely going with the S1 on that. Let's move forward. IPX8 waterproofness. Okay, they both did fabulous. They both have IPX8 waterproof setting down to 1.5 meters. And in all my testing, the Wowtac and the S1 both performed flawlessly. If I have to choose one based on this setting alone, I'm going to go with the S1. And the simple reason is this. This charging port cover can come off. You know, if you're messing around on your boat and this gets bumped or something like that and that comes open, I don't know if you're going to still be IPX8. With the Olight, you don't have a cover like that. So it's definitely going to be IPX8 no matter what you're doing. So IPX8 waterproofness, definitely the edge goes to the Olight in my opinion. Let's move forward. Now this is the level of throw. The Olight puts out a throw of 110 meters. The Wowtac puts out a throw of 126. They both have a fabulous beam pattern. I'm going to go with the W1 on the throw. 126 meters. So I can see just a little bit farther. I like the throw on the W1. Candela rating, 3,000 on the Olight, 4,000 on the Wowtac. So obviously we're going to go with the higher number. We're going to go with the Wowtac 4,000 candela. However, that candela isn't really that big of a deal in my personal opinion. Some of the other features are. Now operating voltage, we're dealing with 2.7 to 4.2. And right here on the Olight, we're dealing with 2.5 to 4.2. So I'm going to go with the Olight on the operating voltage simply because you can operate on a lower voltage battery all the way up to 4.2. So 2.5 volts. Now let's talk about the weight of the lights. We're dealing with 2.02 ounces. That's on my scale with the battery. And on the Olight, we're going to go with 1.57 ounces on the scale with the battery. So obviously, in my opinion, the edge is going to go to the Olight with the weight of being lighter. Okay, now dimensions, 68 millimeters tall, 24.5 millimeters diameter. Over here, we're looking at 61 millimeters tall, 21 millimeters diameter. So obviously, smaller form factor goes with the Olight. I'm going to choose Olight on that section there. Now the next thing is the material, the type of aluminum and stuff like that. The Wowtac W1 does not specify, it just says aluminum alloy. The Olight S1, however, it says that it's a Type 3 hard anodized T6 6061 aluminum. Both lights did flawless, performance on the impact resistance testing, so I'm only going to choose the Olight because I know what the material is. They've really specified what it is. but that's a slight lean over to the Olight. It's taking nothing away from the W1 by any means. I just don't know the exact type of aluminum that they're using. Now let's talk about the LEDs that are involved in these lights. This is a big one. We're dealing with an XP-G2 here in the W1, and on the S1 we're dealing with the XM-L2. My personal opinion, I'm going to go with the Cree LED. The lifespan of the LED is longer, but honestly, from a consumer point of view, you can't really tell, but when you start doing the digging and doing the research, you'll find that the Cree is a better LED. Now, impact resistance, they are both impact resistant down to 1.5 meters, and I ran them over with my vehicle. I put them in ice and all this other stuff, broke it with a hammer. I'm gonna give it a wash. I'm gonna say that they tied on that one. It was awesome. If we want to talk about the lenses of the lights, I'll tilt this to the camera just a little bit. You can see here on the W1, we're dealing with an orange pill type reflector with a glass lens. And on the Olight, we're dealing with the TIR optics lens. It's plastic, and they say that that produces a balanced beam. I would say that they're both fabulous, but if I had to pick one, man, I would probably go with the glass. I think they've done a good job here. However, that takes nothing away from the TIR optic lens. The beam pattern and stuff of the optic lens is phenomenal, but I'm going to go with the slight edge. I like glass better, personally. That's just a personal opinion. Now let's talk about the memory function of the lights. They both have a memory. The W1 will not remember Firefly, Turbo, or Strobe. The S1, since it does not have a turbo, it will not remember Moonlight mode or SOS or Strobe, excuse me. So they're both kind of a wash as far as memory. The memory basically does the same thing, so I'm going to call that a wash. I think they both perform very well. Now, charging. If we want to talk about charging and the simplicity of charging, I got to go with the W1. It has a micro USB charging port on the light. However, like I mentioned earlier, that kind of takes away from the IPX8 rating. However, for simplicity, I think it's cool. You got a little indicator here that'll go red when you're charging, blue when you're done, and purple if you get abnormal charging. You can use Firefly while charging. Definitely going with the W1 on the charging. However, the S1, if we talk about the charging, you have to have a battery charger, which isn't hard. I mean, I've got 100 battery chargers. There's no port though. So that's a good thing in my opinion, because that thing is gonna keep that IPX8 setting no matter what. I personally don't mind to take my batteries out and charge them. However, the W1, it's kind of nice that you leave the battery in and you use the micro USB port. If you're not gonna be around water, this is a clear winner for you. Now, both lights, if we look at the power buttons, we can see here that the Wowtac has a little blue indicator. That's constantly telling us the status of the battery. So definitely we're going to give the edge on the power button to the W1. The S1 does not have a power level indicator to tell us the status of the battery. So I'm definitely going with the W1 on that. Now let's talk about the lockout modes. The W1 has a lockout mode in the UI as well as a manual lockout mode. The S1 does not have a lockout in the UI, but it does have a manual lockout mode. So my edge is going to go to the W1 on the lockout stuff, because you can do it in the UI, you can throw it in your pack, forget about it, no problems. You're not going to worry about that light coming on. So I like that edge goes to the W1 on the lockout mode. Now, pocket clips. Let's turn these guys and let's look at the pocket clips. If we look at the Olight here, you can see that the pocket clip is strong. It's very heavy duty, really thick. They've done a good job here. But it's a single direction. Now they've changed on their current lights. They have dual direction pocket clips. And honestly, I think that that's where Wowtac got the idea. I think they took a page out of Olight's book on the pocket clip. Right here on the bottom, however, it gets kind of tight. And I'm afraid that if you pull this out too much on the top, it's going to break right there. Now with the Olight pocket clip, I don't have any thought like that, like this pocket clip breaking. It gives me a nice deep carry with the lens up, and I can also put it on my hat. It does everything I need it to do. So even though the Wowtac has a dual direction pocket clip, which a lot of people would think is better, in my opinion, I'm going to go with the S1's pocket clip. I just think this thicker material, I think it's going to last longer. It's going to be a better result. And I don't see a need to carry this W1 with the lens up, because the pocket clip's only going to go that deep. It would give you a nice option for a headlamp though. Now let's talk about the big ones here. The price point. So we are looking at the price point of $40 for the Olight S1. We are looking at a price point of $20 for the W1. So obviously let's go with the cheaper package. $20, price point's better. Now the next thing I'm going to talk about is the battery in reflection to the price point. The $40 price point of the S1 does not include a battery. The $20 price point of the W1 does include a battery. So definitely gonna go with the W1 on the price point. I could literally buy 2 of these with 2 batteries for the price of this with no battery. Now what I'm hoping is that Wowtac keeps the price point at $20. Sometimes manufacturers will put a light out on the market really cheap just to get people chewing on it, to take the bait, so to speak, and then they'll jack the pricing up. I hope they stay with the $20 price point. So folks, that's about all I have today on this video. Those are my honest thoughts. If I had to pick one over the other, that's a hard decision to make, because the performance and the pricing and all that, they're both fabulous. Me personally, I'm always around water. I'm going to go with the S1. But if I wasn't going to be around water a bunch and stuff like that, I would clearly go with the W1. I'm always on the boat and stuff. But if I'm not going to be on the boat all the time, I'm just going to the soccer field or baseball park, or going to the, walking around town, going to the movies, whatever, I would go with the W1. So both lights are fabulous. I want to say thank you to everybody out there watching these videos, this series. I hope you're getting some good, useful information out of these videos. Please feel free to leave your comments down below. Like this video, share this video, and as always, thank you for stopping by. I hope you guys have a beautiful day. We'll see you guys next time. We'll be talking about episode 7 here soon. It's going to be a giveaway. So stay tuned. Bye for now.